It's being called a ticking time bomb. The New York Times reports the Biden administration believes Chinese hackers have installed malware on U.S. networks that could affect both military and civilian operations. Officials say the malicious code could disrupt power grids, communication systems, and water supplies that feed military bases around the world. But the impact could spread much farther, as that infrastructure often supplies civilian homes and businesses. A National Security Council official did not acknowledge the malware directly, but said the Biden administration is working relentlessly to defend the United States from any disruptions to our critical infrastructure.
Hey YouTube world, Harvest is plenty. Hope all is well. Thanks for stopping through, checking out the video. Please make sure you click the thumbs up button for me. And also, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please consider becoming one. So, seems like I'm back again with another warning about a possible grid down situation. And it's funny because I actually was talking with a friend of mine this morning about this, and we were just talking about how many people just flat out is going to die. Everybody, as my cousin said, everybody's not meant to make it. That's what my cousin said to me. He said, "Cuz, I know you're trying to warn people, but everybody is not meant to make it." And so unfortunate. I think most people have no idea what's coming. And so they have no haste in getting prepared. They think they're going to wing it. If there's a sustained power outage in America, you and millions of other people will be fighting for the last can of peaches and medicine and water. You have no idea what that chaos could look like. What I would suggest, if you've never read this book, it's called 1 Second After. Pick it up, read it. Maybe you could find it online and download it for free. I'm not sure. But it'll give you an idea what a blackout in America, a sustained blackout in America from EMP or whatever, what it will look like and what you will be facing. Now, China could be the scapegoat. I don't know. They say China has embedded this malware and they're going to use it. As I said, they could be a scapegoat. But it doesn't matter if it's China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. It doesn't matter who takes the grid down. What matters is if it does go down, how will you and yours survive? Where will you and yours get food and water from? That's so important. And even though we got 3 grids in America, we got the East Coast grid, the West Coast grid, and then Texas have their own grid. With ERCOT, even Texas is in the crosshairs too.
Power lines were humming Monday with another Central Texas heat wave in the forecast. Cutting off the electricity and shutting off the water supply is the purpose of a new malware discovered by authorities. The New York Times reported Saturday that a hunt is underway for the hidden program, which may be in computer systems that control utilities and communications. It's believed the malware was planted by operatives from China.
The article is very good.
Cybersecurity expert John Meary says the malware is hard to find and clearly not like those used to steal personal information.
This is a very sophisticated attack. This is way beyond even what took down Colonial Pipeline, which disrupted the United States very significantly with its gas supplies. It's a very, very targeted attack. And then once the attackers get in, they look just like normal activity. So once they get in, it's very difficult to differentiate what's real and what's not without just shutting everything off.
The goal, according to the Times article, is to hamper military deployments if and when China makes a move on locations like Taiwan.
It should be setting off some red flags, and it is a particular threat to the state of Texas.
There are 3 major military installations in Texas, and the ripple effect could be felt in the surrounding communities. Other potential targets are in Abilene, Corpus Christi, Del Rio, Houston, San Angelo, and Wichita Falls. A big attack on the utilities at those locations could start small, according to energy expert Ed Hers.
Suppose you were a bad actor and you turned everyone's thermostat down to a winter setting of 68 or 67. That would spike demand on the ERCOT grid and certainly cause a real problem.
So guys, look. I know for a lot of families out there, money is really tight. A lot of people lost their job. A lot of people got laid off. I understand when, we got bills. I have bills. We all have bills, right? And I understand money is tight for a lot of people, but you know, when you do go to the store, how about you buy an extra can of canned goods, something that you eat, you know, something that you can store away, you know, talk to some of your neighbors. You know, maybe you guys could come up with a group plan. You know, a lot of people don't even know their neighbors. People live in apartment buildings and don't even know who live across from them, or who live underneath them, or who live above them. You know, at times like these, you're gonna need people. You really will need people. You're gonna need their skills, probably need their contacts. They probably could help get you some food, or probably help you escape a city. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be crazy and chaotic, but it's best that you start preparing now. Find a way to store food, water, supplies. Also, you may have to protect your house and your loved ones. You know, do you have any firearms? Do you know how to use them? Have you had proper training? Do you know the laws? You know, things to think about. My first prep has always been Jesus Christ. So before I prep any material item, you know, I make sure that I'm right with God. I'm always praying. I always tell you guys to pray without ceasing. So, you know, have the Lord with you, you know, so his blood covers you and your family, and all your friends and your loved ones and your neighborhood, so you're protected through all of this chaos that's coming. I mean, Klaus Schwab already said it's going to happen from the World Economic Forum. I've added his video many a times to my channel. For those of you who don't know who Klaus Schwab is, he's the guy who's working with the United Nations to accelerate Agenda 20 and Agenda 2030 to bring in a new world order. And he said that they were going to knock down the lights within the next year and a half. And that is going to be catastrophic. It's going to make the pandemic look like a walk in the park, like child's play.
We all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
So guys, I'll leave you guys with the urgency to get prepared. Listen, they will not give us a warning. You know, they're not going to come on the national news and say, okay, everybody in America, tomorrow at 4:00 p.m., we're going to shut the power off. Or tomorrow at 4:00 p.m., the terrorists or the rogue intelligence agencies or China or Russia or Korea, North Korea, whoever, they sent us an email and they say tomorrow at 4:00 they're going to take the power grid down. So you guys got until 4:00 to get ready. They're not going to do that. Either we're going to wake up one morning and the power is already going to be off, or we're going to be going to work, or we're going to be coming back from work stuck in rush hour with no power, or some of us going to say, hey, you know what, it's time for me to take a vacation. I deserve it. And we're going to be somewhere in the Caribbean or in Europe or wherever, Lord forbid, and the power goes out and you're going to be stuck. Again, God forbid. I pray that that never happens to none of you guys. But it's going to happen to people. I mean, it's just reality. It is what it is. When they hit the button or hit the malware or hit whatever, the great reset, boom, everything is going to go. And you're going to be where you're going to be, and you're going to have what you have. Hopefully what you have will be enough to get you through. And then you got to understand about the gangs. You got to understand about the tyrants. You got to understand about the evil people, the rapists, the child molesters, the pedophiles. There's going to be a lot of people roaming the streets, people that take bipolar medicine who no longer have need medicine, drug addicts looking for a fix. I mean, it's going to be crazy. These people are going to be everywhere. They're going to be looking for food, water, medicine, drugs. They're going to be kidnapping people. Listen, 911 will not be available. The police will leave because they got to protect their family. There won't be no 911 because telecommunications is going to be down. What if somebody gets sick? Do you have any medical supplies, like any type of basic first aid CPR training, you know, under your belt? Do you even have any band-aids, first aid kit at your house? Most people don't. They always say, and I tell people that, they say, yeah, I've been meaning to get around to go to Walmart or to order one from Amazon. I'm going to get to it. And they never get a first aid kit. They never go out and get a fire extinguisher. They have no training for nothing. Their thing is, it's not going to happen to me. Nothing has never happened to me. Therefore, nothing never will happen to me. That's how people live life. But bad things happen to good people all the time. And when the grid goes down, it's not going to affect just you. It's going to affect me and mine too. So I'm prepared. May not be prepared enough. I don't know what I'll be facing. You don't know what you'll be facing. But I got some things together, and I suggest you do the same. Remember, I love you guys. Hopefully you heed the message. Until my next video, thank you guys. Take care. In Jesus' name, amen.
Now to new concerns that China's hacked critical U.S. infrastructure in the search for malicious computer code and systems that control American power grids and water supplies.
So cyber attacks. So Jennifer Granholm is the Secretary of Energy under Joe Biden currently. So she was asked on a Sunday morning talk show about if our adversaries are currently in the grid and therefore could shut down our power grid. And she responded affirmatively. So there's something called malware or Trojan horse software. And essentially it could be, this malware can be laying in wait, latent and ready to go, to be signaled. Senator Angus King, had a tirade in a congressional committee talking about this, saying that we're at war, that our adversaries are in the grid. And therefore, here we have two major public officials responding that this is a case right now. And for these 300 Chinese transformers that have been provided to us because they're cheaper, in my opinion, and China Xi has talked about how they are at war with the United States, essentially.
They consider us the number one enemy.
Exactly.
They consider us the number one enemy. And so cyber attacks, thousands of daily cyber attacks, just thousands of them, of at least attempted attacks are happening daily. There is no, this is what really gets me, there is no regulated protection to remove any of this malware or Trojan horse software that they're putting into these transformers. There's literally no oversight. The next geopolitical conflict will likely be in the form of a cyber war, and they are using another mind-blowing thing. So they are using Ukraine as basically a testing ground on shutting power grids down using this malware.
We think that's certainly the case. Now, I have not seen anything, we mentioned in the movie about 2015, 2016. This is before the Ukrainian war, that there were 3 major cyber attacks against the Ukraine. And there was conjecture that came from Ukrainians that said that we were probably the test case for this. Now, what's happened in the last year and a half that Putin has been fighting, a kinetic war against Ukraine, and we know they've gone after the power grid. And frankly, Ukraine is probably less sensitive than we are because they have lesser, less current technology and more analog technology and less digital electronics. And therefore that makes, them a little bit less vulnerable than our systems that are more digital and more advanced.
So you're telling me that Ukraine has a more sophisticated power system than the United States?
No, I'm saying actually less sophisticated in terms of older and less, but in this case,
They have more stability.
More stability. Sometimes older is better because it's more analog and less digital, and therefore less likely to be susceptible to malware, etc.
So if this malware, let's say there's, you said there's 300 transformers from China. There's no regulation that says they need to inspect these for malware or Trojan horses. So I think it would be safe to assume all 300 of these transformers have something inside of them that China can control from a long ways away. How easy would it be if they are all of them are infected? Any of them are infected with this malware or Trojan horse? Is it literally just the push of a button?
I'm not, a cyber technology expert like that, but from what I understand, it's real possible. Yes.
It's simple.
Yeah.
It's simple to take it out.
Yeah.
If those are installed.
Yeah.
Have they found any? Has anybody inspected any of these transformers or?
So actually, it hit the news where a major, high voltage transformer was inspected, by the energy department and by some of our labs, and because there was suspicion, and it was not put into the grid, but then it's nothing has ever come out publicly, and so it's been top secret, but we don't know. But I have a feeling, again, our government is not being completely forthcoming to us. They're not going to tell us, oh, by the way, we found out all our Chinese, this Chinese transformer has all this malware in it. But they certainly could have come out and said, oh, we inspected it, it's all fine. And they certainly haven't said that.
So, well, I mean, the government is, I think if it was clean, then they probably would have released it. I mean, the government they don't want to embarrass themselves.